Back to Simright Fashion Academy YouTube channel for another interesting tutorial. In this tutorial, I'll be teaching you how to sew this beautiful inbuilt corset with inner lacing. So here you can see the inner lacing and it has a zipper as well. So you can use this method to make any dress of your choice. You can make it a tulle net at the back completely, and you can also use your lace for it. So this is what I got after I'm done snatching my waist. You can see the inner corset will help to snatch your waist very properly. So you can see what I have right here. So this method is really very good for bustiers, for corsets, Victorian corsets, cupped corsets, any dress of your choice. The purpose of this tutorial is to show you how to snatch your waist and also wear your dress and look good. So to start off this tutorial, I've already made my lines. These are my vertical lines from the shoulder, bust point, under bust, waist, and the full length. So this is the full length. My full length is at 25 inches. So I use 25 inches for my full length of this dress. So my shoulder divided by 2 is 7.5 and my neck width is 3 inches. So I'm going to place my 7.5 shoulder divided by 2 on the chest line, and then I'm going to come down by 1 inch and connect to the 3 inches line for my shoulder slant. Then I will make a straight line from the shoulder slant to the chest line. Then I will get the midpoint of my arm side. So here I have 4 inches. From that 4 inches, I'm going to go in by 0.75 and mark, and then I'm going to mark a straight line. So I will take my bust circumference on the chest line, divide by 4. My bust circumference divided by 4 is 10 inches. So I'm going to complete my armhole line. So the next is to come over to the waistline. So I'm working with waist 38 inches originally, but I'm going to take off 4 inches to snatch my waist. So I have 34 inches as my new snatched waistline. So that 34 inches, I divided it into 4, and on the waistline I marked 8.5. I added 1.5 inches for my darts. So I'll just connect the line. Then on the hip line, I'm going to mark my hip circumference divided by 4. Here I have 12 inches. I'll just go ahead and connect the line accordingly. So now I'll now come over to the bust point and measure my nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2. I'll also mark my nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2 on the hem line, and I'm going to connect a straight line for my dart. So my waist dart intake is 1.5 inches. So I'm going to divide it into 2. So I will share 0.75 on one side and 0.75 on the other side. Next is to connect from the bust point to the waist and from the waist to the hem line. So here I've connected to the waistline. So the next thing is to divide my shoulder seam line into 2. Whatever you get, you connect to the bust point. So now my bust dart, I'll come down by 2 inches because the difference between my front length and back length is 2 inches. So I'll mark 2 inches and mark the midline as well. I'll come out by 0.75 and complete the bust dart line. So after that, we'll come over to the neckline. So the neckline width is 3.5 inches and the neckline depth is 3.5 inches. So that is what I'm going to work for. So if you are using a tulle completely, this is good. You are using a lace completely, the neckline is good as well. So now I'll come back to the under bust line and take my under bust circumference divide by 4. Whatever you have, you mark, and what you have remaining, add 0.25 on the front, and the remaining you add it on the side. You can also share that into 2, that is if you want, but I like to add 0.25 at the front and the rest by the side. So I'll connect, and then I'll connect to the waistline directly. you connect to the waistline directly, and then on the hem line I'll come out by 0.25, 0.25. So I just took 0.5 inch of that right there and connect it from the waist to the hem line. So the next thing we are going to do now is to create the neckline design. So I'm going to come down from my shoulder by 6.5 inches. That will be my yoke line. So at that 6.5 inches, I'll grab my pattern ruler. You can see how I'm placing it. I really want the neckline, deep neckline, so I connected it to the bust point line on the center front. So that is exactly what I'm about to do now. I placed it on that 6.5 inches to the bust point to create the deep sweetheart neckline, and I'll connect it back into the armhole. So once I'm done connecting, I'm going to share my dart 0.75, which is my over bust dart on both sides, 0.75, 0.75, and connect to the bust point. So here my pattern is ready, and this is my yoke, and I'm going to come up by 1.5 inch for my corset piece, and then connect a blended line on that point to avoid sharp edges. So this is my F1 and F2. I'm also going to create my Regling boning lines on the lining. When sewing this dress, the Regling boning will be sewn on the lining piece. So I replaced my dart of 0.5 on the hemline. That is what I did. The 0.5 I added on the dart on the hemline, I just replaced it now. Then extend my line. So here is my center front, and here is my center front. So next is to cut out this pattern piece. So I'll just go ahead and cut. So after cutting out the pattern, I'm going to close up my bust dart. So I'll cut through my bust dart, apply my adhesive, and close up my bust dart accordingly. So I decided to make a Victorian corset for this particular inbuilt corset. So you can also make a cupped corset. Of course, you know how to go about your cupped corset. So it's the same technique as well. So we'll move over to the back piece. So right now we are going to draft the back pattern piece. So I've drawn all my vertical lines, and I removed 2 inches from each line apart from the chest line because of the bust dart technique. So the full length of my blouse right now is 23 inches. I removed 2 inches from the 25 inches I used for the front. So here I'm drafting the shoulder slant line the same way I did for the front, and I found the midpoint and came in by 1/2 inch. I measured on the chest line my bust divide by 4, and I connected accordingly. So next I also snatched my waist by 4 inches, just like I did for the front as well. Then I'm going to mark the snatch waist divide by 4. I added 1 inch for my back dart. I added 1 inch. So my hip divide by 4, I connected accordingly as well. So here is my back pattern piece. So the next thing I'm going to do right away is to create my neckline. So I used 3.5 inches for my neckline and 1 inch for the depth for the back. So I came in by 1 inch for my zipper bulge just to contour the back area, and now I replaced that 1 inch. So I also replaced it on the chest line and reconnected my lines to avoid shortage. So here I'm going to create my dart. I use my dart which I divided by 4. I divided it by 2 again and got the midline. So I'm going to draw my line for the dart, and I extend it by 1 inch above the chest line. So the width of my dart for the back is 1 inch. So I'm going to share 0.5, 0.5 on each side, and I'm going to connect my waist dart accordingly. So after I'm done connecting my waist dart, the next thing I did now is to come in with my corset back by 2 inches. So I want my corset to open at 2 inches, and these are my eyelet positions. So here I've created the corset inner corset lace. So you can make a style for it. That is what I did. You can also take it straight on the chest line. So I labeled them B1, B2, as you can see. But I just decided to make it straight instead of making a design at that point. Just make it straight, and I canceled the slanted line. So here my corset is ready. The next thing I'm going to do is to trace out this corset. So I'll go ahead and trace it out with my brown pattern paper. So I place it on top of the main pattern, and I'll start to trace all my lines for the corset. So the corset is the part I'm tracing right now. So after I'm done tracing this corset, I'm going to cut it off. So make sure you trace everything, the waist dart, the eyelet position, and label B1, B2 and cut out. So here is my corset lacing, inner lacing. So this is it for the back right there. So now I'll label the upper piece, so when cutting it, it will be very easy to identify. So we'll go back to the pattern right now to create the part that will be the zipper part. So I'll come down by 2 inches from the waistline. So I came down by, it depends on the design you are making, but I just want to make a little low waist, so I came down by 2 inches and cut. So this part I'm cutting right now is going to carry either your tulle or your lace or whatever fabric you actually want to use for this back part. And this part is the zipper position. So my zip will be at this point. So now you can see the dress is ready. So I've gone ahead to cut out my patterns right now on my fabric, but I'll be explaining how I cut this pattern in the next tutorial. So I'll be dropping the link on the description box below how to go about the sewing of this beautiful dress. I don't want this video to be too long anyway, so I have to stop it right here. Then click on the link on the description box below to watch how this dress is made. So here you can see all my patterns are quite ready. So for the sewing tutorial, I'll be dropping the link on the description box below. Don't forget to click on it to follow up the sewing of this dress. So if you have not subscribed to this channel, what are you waiting for? Please kindly subscribe to Snatched YouTube channel. Turn on your notification bell to receive videos like this every day. Like this video, share to family and friends. Drop your comments on the comment section and your suggestions as well. So thank you for stopping by, and see you in the next one. Bye.